Welcome into this fifth edition of Talon Talk. Today, we move our focus to the Faulkner men's soccer program. We're going to have on head coach Kyle Beard, assistant coach Gabby Kiddos, and senior soccer player Guilherme Mondaini. We're going to talk to them about all the things that have been transpiring in the world since we shut down last March, find out how they've handled recruiting. We'll get a look at that recruiting class and how do they build the culture that they've built within that program, which is such an important part of what they do. We're back on the other side on this edition of Talon Talk.
Coming to Montgomery, October 1st for one night only.
Spying on any American is a big deal. I can't think of a worse way to investigate something than to have Congress do it.
Faulkner University presents Representative Trey Gowdy at its annual benefit dinner.
In politics, it's just about winning. And I mean, the Constitution gives the House no role in deciding how this trial takes place.
Order your tickets today at faulkner.edu or by calling 386-7257.
Welcome back to Talon Talk, joined now by the Faulkner men's soccer head coach Kyle Beard, maybe joined by our esteemed assistant coach Gabby Kiddos. Hopefully I got that right a little bit later, so we're hoping Gabby can join us in a little bit. But Kyle, for you guys, ma'am, you're in a different spot than like our spring sports were. Our spring sports were in the midst of their season. You were trying to get going with your spring season when everything really kind of shut down. So I guess the first real challenge is assessing your returners. So how do you go about doing that? I mean, you know what you had last fall, but how do you develop?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We were right in the middle of spring, which you're kind of alluding to. That is the development time. That's a time where we have a few kids that even come in the spring, and we kind of get a look at them. But yeah, our rising juniors and seniors, especially, that's a chance where we get to kind of put things together. So we got a little bit of that. We got a little bit of time, and I wouldn't want to say enough, but we got enough time to kind of get an assessment on who really wants it. And
right.
They kind of kicked into gear, and we were fortunate enough to get a lot of good workouts in physical fitness before we started ball play with our guys. And then once we hit it, we had about, if I remember right, I think we had about 2 weeks on the ball before, the world came to an end. And so, but we got to see a few guys that really kind of stepped up into leadership roles. Coming into the fall, to kind of really answer your question, it's going to be, I mean, we'd be lying if we said we knew what we're looking at. We do feel good. We have quite a few guys who are stepping into leadership roles, and we do feel good about them, but not enough. And I think, Gabby just jumped on. I mean, I think Gabby would reiterate that. Like, we do feel good about the 4 or 5, but, we need 11. And so there's a lot of spots of guys that we recruited that we're super excited about, but will we get them? And when they come in late, how late is too late? Because there's so much that you do in preseason, and then the next step you take is that entry level into the non-conference season, and all of that. I mean, I think Gabby and I are on the same page on that. I'll let him jump in on that too. Those are crucial. Those are foundational development blocks, and learning the speed of play, learning our system that we want to implement. But Gabby and I are really defiant people, so we love it. We love the challenge, and we're always ready for a fight. I don't lie. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite to get guys late, but man, I'd rather play than not. Honestly, we were out doing a camp the other day, and it was so good just to be out there coaching again and seeing young men and women wanting to get into the game we love so much. But I'll let Gabby jump in on that too, if you want to ask that maybe another way.
Yeah, Gabby, we're talking about these returning guys, and without having spring available to you to really work on development and assessment. So the question posed was, how do you really figure out where you're at in terms of your core and your returners?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky question. Like, we're trying to figure out the answer every single day. Me and Coach Beer just hoping everything works out for us. But the best thing that I've been doing is just talking to our colleagues, not just here in the US, but everywhere in the world, Brazil, Spain, Argentina, how they're gonna do this, how they've been doing this in their environment. And the word that I most heard was adapt. You just got to adapt to it, trying to figure out how to deliver the message, how to deliver what we believe and what we're gonna be doing as a team, and use the technology. That's one thing that we're gonna use the most, is use the technology in our favor to get them the same page as us, so they can, when they get here, they're ready to go, and not we spend a lot of time talking to them what they need to do and spending time on the field. So that's one thing we're trying to do right now.
Listen, and since we're on that topic of those guys that are returning, I'm going to go ahead and take you into a shared screen here, and we'll put your roster in front of you. Before we talk about this signing class, and there's a lot of guys for us to look at there, let's talk about these returners. You know, a little bit later in the show, we're going to have Guilherme Mondaini on with us. And, of course, that's one of the guys that we expect big things from. But where's the other leadership coming from? Who are these core guys that we're expecting to take steps forward this year?
Well, I'll jump in first. And I mean, Gabby and I both have really great feelings about some of these guys. I mean, the second guy on the list, if you look at that roster, we call him Costa for obvious reasons. But Costa was outstanding for us as a player this year, and he really he's not the loud guy, you know what I'm saying? But he is just hard working to the core, and so we really kind of fell in love with him and the way he plays and his work ethic. And, of course, playing through this season with a guy like that, he learned, and he was willing to not be intimidated. Our level is very, very high. The conference is top shelf, and he didn't back down from that. I really feel like, Gabby and I were talking about this towards the end of the season. I really feel like he stepped into it, and he took good instruction. And so he's a guy, definitely. And then Giga, I really should let Gabby talk about him, because Gabby recruited him a long time ago, and he's like our little child. Like, we have raised that kid. We love him to death. But Giga really, really stepped up as well. And, as young as he is, he's a little bit younger than most kids at that level, the junior level. He wants it. He wants to be a leader. And so those are two of the guys that we really are going to need to depend on. And then I'll let Gabby talk a little bit about some of the other guys that he knows about, like Sam and so on.
Yeah, I mean, like like Coach Beard said, I saw him first year in Brazil. I went for a recruiting trip, and I got to see him. And he was not one of the best players in the camp over there, but how he approached me was very open, and he was seeking for a challenge, and that's one of the reasons we recruited him. There's different types of leadership. He's a technical leadership. He's very skilled, very smart in the field. So we teach him and then grow him as a leader off the field as well, which is another challenge for him. But some of the guys that stands out for me is Johnny Dunn. Coach B can agree with me that too. I mean, he's a local kid. And we like to use him as an example for our guys, not just the whole team, but the new guys from Alabama, the American kids that they think they come to college, they're going to get and win everything. Johnny Dunn is an example of that just came and learned and listened to us. And then, I mean, as a freshman, he started a couple games. I mean, he just dove in everything that we teach him. And then he accepted the challenge, and then he just went forward. And coming from like Montgomery High School, not putting down this high school level over here, but it is a huge gap. People that don't know about soccer in this town, they need to know the truth. And high school to college, there's a huge gap between it. And then he was one of the guys that just came in and listened and took advantage of it. And then right now he's a leader. He's a leader for us. As an example for us. That's how leadership is. And another guy is just Elijah Wims. That's an interesting story. I mean, that kid never played high school soccer. Believe it or not, he never touched a ball in high school. He only played American football and cross country. And then he just hanging out with the right guys in our team. And then he listened. He spent a lot of time off the field training by himself in the multiplex, and then just working his technique. and it paid off. Last year he traveled with us a couple of times, and right now he has a great chance to be in the varsity team.
Yeah, and we could go on and on. We love our guys, but so I could talk about all of them. But another guy that I think we both have high expectations for is Sam Kelly. Yeah, Sam did face an injury, but all along Sam is like doing whatever he can to get back on the field, even trying to fool the trainer. She wasn't fooled, but doing everything he could. He just wanted to be out there with the guys, and that's something you can't coach. And Gabby and I really appreciate that in a player. And before he did get injured, he was killing it. I mean, he was just a danger for every team we faced, and it's just one of those freak accidents. We've kind of had a couple years where we've been dealt a bad hand on the injury table, and so we're a little frustrated with that. But it wasn't as bad. We lost a couple, and we got Sam back towards the end. He's one of the big reasons we had the success we had, and really gave us the hope that we had. He's an outstanding striker, and so we're excited about him. I'm glad Coach mentioned Johnny Doan. That's a kid that just, man, we were having to test. We test all of our guys in the mile and the 2 mile and so on. And he was in the lead in the test and noticed some guys in his group falling back and went backwards and went and pulled them up and got them to finish together. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, like, he wasn't worried about his time as much as he was his group, his team finishing. So, something that we do, and I don't want to jump the gun, but just I want to say this about our program. Something we do that Gabby and I really take heart in is building the culture. And as far as that goes, I don't think we could feel better about it. The last couple of years have been an incredible blessing as a coach. I don't think we've missed a beat with it, to be honest. Our culture has, we faced some terrible injuries 2 years ago. We had 6 injuries, then none of those guys came back. And we didn't really miss a beat. I mean, our guys never were disheartened, and just kept fighting and fighting. And when you're playing one of the best conferences in America, that can be defeating. And then last year we lost 2 strikers. We lost to the number 3 team in the nation on a PK, and our guys went back at it and fought the next game. I mean, it was just, we're very, very blessed to have the guys that we have. And like I said, we could go down the list. There's quite a few guys that we feel like are going to be big contributors. But he did do a good job naming a couple of those hardworking guys you can't say enough about. So,
well, and I wanted to move into the recruiting piece of this, but we're going to do that in a minute, because you leave us in a spot that I think the natural thought process is, as you mentioned, look, that record, it's not what you want, 5-7-1. But when you take a look at some of these games, that's a 2-1 loss to Dalton State. That's a double overtime tie to Florida College. It's 1 goal, 2 goals, 1 goal, 1 goal, 1 goal. I mean, it's a matter of seconds here or there from a far different record. Yeah. What's the key? And I think you may have touched on one of them when you talk about the work ethic of the guys that you have. But what's the key in going from a program that is almost there to getting over that hump and winning those games? Because it seems like that was the only difference last year, was just getting over that hump and finishing those games.
Yeah, and fortunately we've had it. 2-3 years ago now, I guess, we went four straight years going to the playoffs, and that had never been done in the program history. And for 2 of those years, we went to the semifinals in the conference tournament. So, Gabby was on staff with me then, so we both have seen it's literally 1 or 2 players staying healthy. And we always say, if we have everybody stay healthy, we're not going to be beat, because we go crazy trying to recruit the right guy. But at the end of the day, it's about developing men and about developing character. And as much as I don't like it myself, sometimes you're faced with this kind of stuff, and I really think it makes you better. I think we know as coaches, it makes us hungry. It makes us want to, continue to put in the work we need to do. But I remember towards the end, we just finished a game. I think they finished at number 8. That's what we have them ranked, University of Mobile. At the time, they were actually ranked 3rd in the nation, and they went pretty deep into the national tournament. their coach walked up to us and said, "This is not the way the game should have ended. We actually played better than them. We had many chances to score, and we just missed. We missed some great opportunities. And again, we were missing two strikers that were the difference. And so it's those are some building blocks. We have a really young team, and all of our team witnessed this. They saw it, and it hurts, but it feeds into, we know we were there. We know we had the ability to win that game against arguably one of the best teams in the country. They don't want to play us, and that's a great thing to put in your backpack, if you will. That's a great thing to put in your, as a young player developing. We had at one time we had 4 freshmen starting for us, and you can see the score line. Like it wasn't bad that we had 4 freshmen. One of those freshmen made the all freshman team. So we both plan on Gabino. He was outstanding for us, and so that's aptitude for him. That's soccer 101 that he's getting. That if you win those games, you miss some of the elements that you probably didn't do good. It's a good education for the guys. So, I don't want it this way. You don't want that record, like you said, but if we're able to go in and play a season this year, and I say that with a big question mark, I don't think Gabby and I are nervous about it. I mean, we believe in these returners. I remember him and I talking at the end of that University of Mobile game, and we were like, there's nothing else we could do. Like we prepared them the right way. They prepared themselves the right way. Their attitudes were great. That's just the way it falls. And unfortunately, our sport is very unique to that. Soccer, the best team doesn't always win. I mean, that's all over the world. That's in the pro level. If you're missing a few key players, it's the difference. And so,
Right.
We're going to continue to work to be as healthy as we can and bring in the right players. But, the caveat to that is we also are pretty picky. Gabby did a great job a minute ago talking about we go after guys that are great fits to our program, not just the best player. And we're trying to maybe pull off a miracle, but we're trying to pull off having a team that we like, that we want to go to their weddings when they get married, and we want to be proud of just great young men, but also have talented players. So, that's nothing that I'm ever going to be ashamed of. We're very, very happy with that. But, and again, I may be jumping the gun, but going into this next year with the foundation that we have built with these young men, if we can get these recruits that we've got, probably 12 new recruits, and that's a lot, that are outstanding. I mean, they're incredible players. A couple of transfers that have already kind of blazed the trail in the junior college levels in America. I'm just kind of looking through the list that you pulled up here, and then just some guys that were incredible, at their hometown or at their club. And there's a lot. I mean, there's some from Montgomery, Alabama that are really, really, really good. It doesn't matter if they're not from another country. And I want Gabby to jump in on a few, because I know he's excited about a couple that he's been recruiting for about 2 years. It's been a time-consuming thing, especially our French guys. We've been working on those for quite a while. So I'll let you go ahead, Gabby.
Yeah, this class is coming in. It's going to be, I think, hands down for me as far as like being part of the recruiting process. I think it's going to be one of the best classes that we ever recruited. We just spent a lot of time talking to them. I spent a lot of time talking to each one of them. Zoom calls. The whole month of February, I would just Zoom call every single day, trying to meet these guys and explain about Faulkner and and explain what we're trying to do. And you show the record right there, Jeremy, and they asked that. As a player, as a coming player that coming from another country or from Auburn, they asked those questions. They're just like, what happened over here? And I was honest with them. We were honest with them, and that's what happened, and that's what we're looking for right now. And then, some of them they buy in or not, but these guys that is right there in the screen, they understood, and it's like, well, I think I can help you, coach, achieve those goals, and
that's what we want.
That's what we want. A couple guys, just a couple names right there. There was a different thing, a different conversation. Was Daniel Olmes that is coming from Germany, but the family are coming from Turkey, and it was the whole conversation was about how our school is a Christian school. That was the whole conversation. We didn't talk about our soccer program. We didn't talk about Montgomery or anything like that. The whole conversation was about Christianity, and he fell in love in our school. So guys like that, it's what makes our program so special, is that they fall in love with specific things that we offer, and then we don't have to talk about anything else. They want to come in here and enjoy and have a great opportunity and experience.
Well, and that's one of the things, you touch on that, especially at our level with our institutional values. I think it's one of the things that gets undervalued in an athletic program. The tangible, measurable things that people on the outside see are win-loss records. But the things that most people on the outside don't see are things like retention rate and little things like the attendance from the student body at games, which is oftentimes indicative of the way that your players are invested on campus. And for you guys, the attendance at games from the student body has been really, really good. Even on bitter cold nights, like they tend to be there, and that's a reflection of the type of kids that you bring in. So sort of building off that, Gabby, what's been the struggle now? Because during coronavirus, you hadn't been able to go out and see a lot of these guys, and I'm sure, especially for international kids, there's been a lot of questions about the travel and are they going to be able to? And so how have you managed all of that?
Honestly, Jeremy,
a lot of prayer. Yeah,
a
you've
lot
been
of
praying
prayer,
a lot.
man. A lot of prayer and just honesty and just be talking to them. That's the whole thing. Just keep in touch and then talking to them. They're young kids. They're angered. They want to be here. They want to make it happen. And I've been there place before. Not long time ago, but so that's something that we can relate. So just talking to them and then just keep them excited and motivating them every single day. I try to talk to them through text, whatever they're from. Like I text in the morning and night. So just, hey, keep praying, just keep training, get ready. At any moment everything can happen and you can just be here. So that's one thing. Just being in contact with them, not just, hey, we sign over here, you coming to us, I'll see you in August. No, I try to be there every single day to motivate them and just keep their hopes up.
I'll tell you, I can't say enough about that. We both try to do that, but I really do. I am very grateful for Gabby because Gabby gets the Faulkner difference. That's kind of my coinage, but I tell that to a lot of parents. Like, you can go to a lot of schools, but there is something different. And I think a guy like my assistant, a lot of the assistants that actually went to school here, it's a testimony for them. Like, I've had a couple of guys ask me, what if soccer doesn't happen? I'm like, well, you have a great school to go to. So you won't get to be running out around having fun with me, but you'll still be having fun because the student body of Faulkner is great. It's really, really one of a kind. The experience that you get. One thing that I tell a lot of kids, and I think this is a difference maker for a lot of them that are looking at either a gigantic state school or just some of their situation, and what we would call normal, is the professor that is teaching you is your department head, and you get to be right there with them, looking through what your degree is going to look like and your experience. I went to a really, really large junior college, about 20,000 people. So did Gabby. Went to a big JUCO, and it's not the same. You feel like you don't belong and you're not important. And so, then my wife and I transferred and went to a school much like Faulkner, where you can be hands-on with the professor. So, that's the one thing I really want that to get out to parents and to students. Like, we have something different at Faulkner. We have a family here, and if we don't get to play soccer, that's not cool. We don't want that, but we'll get to that eventually. We have something else that's special here too. So,
And I mean, besides that, I try to when the kid is in the doubting, like they don't know for sure, I try to connect them with one of our guys. I mean, Sam Kelly helped me a little bit on that. Some of the girls' side, some of the Germans girl, they helped me with Daniel, Guy. I mean, I try to connect them with our players already, so they can know them and connect. I mean, some of the guys, Costa can say that too, but like they already have a group of players for next year that they've been talking already about everything. I just go to them. Have you seen this? Like, oh yeah, Costa helped me with this. I'm like, how do you know Costa? I went through Instagram, Facebook, and I talked to him and we connected. And I'm like, great. This is it. This is the type of this is how our school is. We just embrace these guys. We'd never met them before, but we're already helping them. So that's the one thing that we do, and then that's how our guys are.
I'll tell you this. This is a wonderful place to play. It's a great college to play at, and our conference is a really great place. If that's all we have to play, we're up for it. I was talking to a couple of coaches in conference, like, this is really important to these students. It's a really important experience. It's a vital part of who we are, and if it's safe and and we can do this, we want to be a part of it. And it's crucial for us and who we are.
We are back on the other side on this edition of Talon Talk.
Bless the corners of this house and be the lintel blessed. Bless the hearth and every board and each place of rest, and every door that opens wide to stranger as to kin, and every crystal window pane that lets the starlight in. At home, I'm going home for solace and safety, home where the world will not break me home. Never forsake me, take me home.
Welcome back to Talon Talk, joined now by Faulkner Men's Soccer senior Guilherme Mondaini. Actually, I feel like I should say that like I'm doing it over the PA whenever you score. That Guilherme Mondaini. That's fun to say, by the way. So, yeah. So
I loved it. I'm
going to start there. Like, so you hit him with the flex as soon as you heard the PA announcement after the goal against Weber. Like, where'd the flex come from for you?
Last year we had a really great soccer player, like a young soccer player here in Brazil, and he was doing it, and I just got from that. I was like, yeah, that's the kind of attitude that I like. Scoring and then just flexing.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to the other team or anything like that, but it's like, that's just me,
Mm-hmm.
That's where
soccer.
I got it from. Yeah.
Like if you can't have fun doing soccer, you're not doing soccer right?
Exactly.
So listen, it was a lot of fun for you. The goals last year were big because you guys were in a lot of tight games, man, and in a league with a lot of really good defensive teams. So as you look at your game now going into next year or into the fall, like what are the areas that you really feel like you want to improve?
I feel like I can improve like my defensive side because, here in Brazil, we have that offensive culture, like we wanna go forward, we wanna score. And going to the US when I was like 18, that and being coached by Coach Kyle Beard, that showed me like the defensive part. Like I can be a complete player if I want to, and that's where I try to work on,
Listen, man, time flies. Like, I'm sure it feels like you just came to Faulkner for the first time, but you're a senior now. So,
oh my God.
How are you different than when you first got here?
I'm certainly more mature than I was when I first got there, because like moving to another country is like not just moving to another state or something like that to go to college. I moved away from my family, and that made me grow like as a man, not just as a kid that grew up here in Brazil. but I think that's where Faulkner helped me, to grow up as a man, inside the field and outside. So that's where I feel like I improved.
Listen, you come back this year with it's a good group of returners. There's no question, and we can't even name them all, but guys like Sam Kelly and Johnny Doan and Costa and Gabino, there's a good group of guys coming back. You also lose a lot of leadership with guys like Dave Chesterman and Kyle Collado. So as you guys are the leaders now, so how do you approach that with these new guys that are coming in?
I mean, I would just try to help the new guys and even the returners as the other guys did to me. Like Kyle Collado, as you said, Matias Cesar. Like that was kind of father for me because he helped me a lot. Like showing me where I was wrong and where I was right. Because that's life. You're not always right. And they were never afraid to tell me that I was wrong. They just wanted for me to improve, and hey, Giga, you can be better at this. And, oh, this is really good or this is really bad, so that's where I think I can help the new guys and even the returners. I think I'm in a place right now that I'm really confident about the game, about my knowledge of the game, because we're in a spot. We're at Faulkner. We're playing college soccer, so everybody knows how to play the game, But I think when you get to know the game and when you can get to see the game in other eyes, I think that's where you can make a difference.
Listen, man, things have been they've been crazy the last several months. You get sent home in March, and at the time, you don't know when you're coming back, and then that turns into you're still home. So
Yeah.
we know, we follow the news reports on what's going on with the virus in Brazil, but you're there. So for your area and where you're at, how has it been, and how have you guys managed the virus there in Brazil?
Yeah, so I came home in March, as you said, because my parents were just freaking out,
Mm-hmm.
They wanted me close to them so they could take care of me, because parents. So I came here and I thought I didn't know what we were dealing with, and now I know. So I'm just taking care of myself, trying to take care of my family, trying to do groceries for my parents and all these kind of stuff because they're older, But I've been taking care of myself and just training, That's what I'm doing. I'm just ready to go back, ready to get started, and that's where I want to be right now, actually, to be honest. I think I just enjoyed holidays and everything, even more than that, because I came here earlier. So my mindset right now is just soccer, getting back to Faulkner, getting the job done, and get to see the guys again. That's where I want to be right now.
Have you been able, where you live, are there places for you to go out and practice, stay in shape, play pickup, anything? Have you been able to really work on anything?
Yeah, right now I'm going out. I'm going to the beach to get some fitness in and this kind of stuff. But soccer wise, not that much because I don't want to get in touch with a lot of people. Because some people here are not concerned about this virus thing, and for me it is a big deal. So I don't want to harm me getting back to Faulkner for a pickup game or something like that. So I'm training by myself and I'm doing this stuff. I have a big friend that is a soccer coach. So he's trying to help me through phone, you know. I'm calling him every time I'm going to practice, and he's telling me what to do and what not to do. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Listen, man, so you're staying indoors a lot, trying to be safe, which is the right thing to do. Here we locked down for a long time. So let's talk about, what are you doing indoors? Are you watching a lot of Netflix? Are you listening to music? Are you reading? Like, how do you spend your downtime?
I mean, I'm already done with Netflix. There's nothing new
You finished
to watch.
Netflix? Yeah.
So right now I'm just listening to music, hanging out with my girlfriend, because when I go back, it's like the usual, I'll be away from her for a few months. So I'm just trying to enjoy family, because I was away from them for a year. So I'm just doing what we usually do, like being home and just enjoying, you know.
So tell me, when you came to the States for the first time as a freshman, was there anything about the culture that was surprising to you? What was the hardest thing to adjust to?
To be honest, like here in Brazil, we're kind of more touchy than you guys in America.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, it was not hard to adapt, but it was just like weird at first, because like when we met each other, we like hug everyone and like kiss in the cheeks and this kind of stuff. But it was something that it's just culture, you know. If I went another place, it would be different as well. So it was not a problem. It was just like a kind of shock at first.
Let's talk about, so like, as you're looking at culture stuff, tell me about food. Like, is there a food that when you came here, you had never had it, or that you fell in love with? Like, I imagine there's not a lot of fried okra in Brazil. So like,
no, but there's this dish, if I can call it that. My girlfriend got to go to the U.S. last year, and we went to Chicago together. And we have the deep dish pizza.
Chicago deep dish, yeah.
That was amazing. Like, top 5 of all time.
Yeah,
like,
it's different.
Even Brazilian food.
And so now you go to Brazilian food. When you're here in the States, what do you miss most back home? Like, what's that dish?
It gotta be our barbecue.
Brazilian barbecue. So what's the difference? Like, I mean, here you've got like a vinegar-based barbecue, or you've got, you've got the pulled pork or whatever. What is it about Brazilian barbecue? What makes it different?
I mean, our steak is just different. Like, you guys like to put some hot dogs and hamburgers or pulled pork. We got the pulled pork and everything, but our steak is just different.
It's different.
That's awesome.
It's better. You're being nice. I see it in your face. It's better, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was raised like that. Every Sunday at my place, we just go out and cook some barbecue with my father. So that's the way I was raised. I mean, it is better from I get like some people they don't like it that much. I mean, everybody likes it, but not a big fan like I am. But it's just something I was raised with, and it's hard to like don't get to eat it every Sunday, you know.
Right. So that's different. So listen, man, you wrap it up this year with your playing career. You're getting close to graduation. What do you want to do after you're finished?
I mean, I have to work with soccer. That's my life, you know. I've been playing soccer since I was 4 years old here in Brazil. And I think I can help people at that field, you know. So it got to be soccer. I don't know if I want to coach. I'm doing some internships, some some training, like coaching and this kind of stuff. For sure, it'll be soccer. I don't know what job it will be, but it will be related to soccer for sure.
Yeah, man. And listen, so final thing for you as you head into this last year, what are you excited about with this team? Like, what when you look at this roster and you talk to these guys, what gets you excited about being part of this team?
I'm excited to lead for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm important to these guys, and I want to be important to these guys. Not that I wasn't on the other 3 years, but there was always someone to carry the weight for me. And this time, I want to carry the weight for the guys, for the younger guys, and I'm really excited for that. I think I already know how the game works in another country, in the U.S., like how college soccer works, and I feel like I'm ready. I'm more ready than I ever was. That's why I'm excited.
Fantastic. That is Guilherme Mondaini, and he's back with a really, really good group of men's soccer players this year. Looking forward to competing in the SSAC and making a lot of noise. We're back on the other side on this edition of Talent Talk.
Did you know that 100% of Faulkner's computer science graduates
since 2014 have found jobs
in their fields within 6 months of graduating?
It's a great time to be a computer scientist. Everyone is walking around with a computer in their pocket in the form of a smartphone, and it takes software developers to make those things work.
I built church websites, and through the training and instruction that I received from Faulkner, I was able to go right into my career after graduation.
It laid a solid foundation for what you need to know.
I'm getting a lot of hands-on experience within my field, and also they're just giving me a wide variety of options of things that I might want to pursue in the future.
In the state of Alabama alone, there are over 4,000 tech-related jobs available. And the preparation that you receive at Faulkner University will allow you to go to work almost anywhere as a software developer. It's a great time to be a Faulkner Eagle, and it's a great time to be a computer scientist. I hope you'll come and join us.
Thank you again for joining us on this edition of Talent Talk. Special thanks to Kyle Beard, Gabby Kiddos, and Guilherme Mondaini for taking the time to sit down with us for this episode. We're back next week with women's soccer head coach Pritchard Naira, as well as senior Taylor Strength for our student athlete feature. You can check us out, FaulknerEagles.com. That is the home for all information related to Faulkner Athletics. Also follow us on Twitter at FaulknerATHL and on Facebook, Faulkner Sports. We'll keep you updated with any changes regarding the NAIA's plans for the fall, if they are to occur, as well as have a little fun with things like Wallpaper Wednesday. We dropped one earlier today. Go check it out. Have some redecorating for your phone. Thank you so much again. Have a great week, and God bless you.